Hello everyone, I feel very energetic because I will discuss the answer copy of the Shakti Dubey AI1. So let's see how she write the polity GS2 answers and what is the format and what she gives in your introductions and what she gives in your conclusion in her conclusion and the body section. Okay, so in this class we will discuss through a method. At first, we will understand what is the demand of these questions and take these themes of questions. We will discuss what remember in our foundation courses or foundation classes. So through this process, we will revisions with activity calls and the knowledge of this revisions part what will applied in this answers we will compare with the revision part and the answer part. So we will get idea. Okay, so we will get idea how our knowledge, how using our knowledge we will write the answer copies or answer. So at first see what is the main questions. Main question is what is the constitutional severabilities. You should instantly think uh, what is the constitutional severability and discuss the help of the relevant judicial decisions. Discuss the help of the relevant judicial decisions. Okay, if you try to remember the PIQ polity, a question asked by UPSC is what is the constitutional morality and discuss it with the help of the relevant judicial decision. So, with the help of the relevant judicial decision, this is the themes by which merge with another topic and frame the questions. Okay, and frame the question. So, what is the doctrine of severabilities? Okay, okay. Doctrine of severability. Try to remember that's doctrine of severability. Doctrine of I will ask a questions in which article uh, do you in which article you read about this. Okay, in which article do you read about this? The article 13. Okay, my next question uh, in this article 13 uh, another doctrines mentioned there and another doctrine discussed with respect to article 13. Huh. Doctrine of doctrine of escapes. Okay, these doctrines, doctrines we will can discuss uh, discuss link with the article 13. Okay, link with article 13. So say what mentioned in the article 13. What are the mentioned in the article 13? In the article 13, in the article 13 mentions about the definition of law, the definition of law, and this is the main question uh, asked in 2026 by the UPSC. Okay, by the UPSC, which is the statement based. Which is the statement based. So, which is the statement based. So, notification, any notifications, okay, customs, notification customs mentions, any notification custom mentions in the law which is defined by the law. Okay, uh, here mention the concept of the judicial review. Judicial review what? Not mentioned here. Okay, judicial review what? Not mentioned here, but the concept of the judicial review is mentioned in Article 13. I mentioned in the Article 13. In the Article 13, judicial review applied if any law passed by the, okay, there is also obligation. Any law passed by the parliament or legislature, if they violate the fundamental right, if they violate the fundamental right, judiciary can apply, judiciary can apply the judicial review. Okay, judiciary can apply the judicial review, and uh, the judgment, the judgment of it, if the law is violate the fundamental right, violate the fundamental right, this law can be invalid and or null and void. Null and void. Okay, invalid or null and void. And also in the Article 13, and also in the Article 13 mention another's. In the Article 13 mention two concepts, more two concepts, which is the pre-constitutional law, constitutional law, and post-constitutional law. Pre-constitutional law and post-constitutional law. Okay, pre-constitutional law, if any pre-constitutional law violate the fundamental right, if any pre-constitutional law violate the fundamental right, judiciary can imply, judiciary can imply, uh, judiciary can declare this null and void, totally null and void, totally not. If this law, any clause, any clause violate fundamental right, violate fundamental right, and this clause will be paused. That's will not deleted. Okay, pause. That's will not deleted. This clause not deleted and not implemented. Not implemented. This clause will null and void. Not null and void. Not implemented. This is the pause. Okay, pause clause. If in futures fundamental right can amend and this clause, then this clause is not violated, not violated, then it will be implemented again, and this is the doctrine of the escape, and this is the doctrine of the escape. Okay, escape. Then post constitutional law. In the post constitutional law, any law, any law violate the fundamental right, any law or any clause of law, Okay, any law or any clause of law violate the fundamental right. Any law or any clause of law violate the fundamental right. This will be null and void. Null and void. That means totally delete. Okay, totally delete. And this process is called the doctrine of the severability. Doctrine of severability. This clause is known as the doctrine of the severability. Hope to understand what is the main things here. And using this using these doctrines, okay, using these doctrines, judiciary can uphold, okay, judiciary can uphold, judiciary can uphold, done what I say, judiciary can uphold constitutional morality. Constitutional morality. That means limits the government power. Can limit the government power. Okay, and can limit the government powers. So this is the actual concept. Next, okay, this is the actual concept. Next, let's discuss next things, which is now by the which judicial decisions, by the which judicial decisions, okay, by the which judicial decisions it can be used. Okay, it can be used. Ayer Coelho case. Ayer Coelho case. Case number 1. Ayer Coelho case. 2007. In the Ayer Coelho case, the blanket protections. आयर कोलो केस में जजमेंट दिया है नल एंड वॉइड के ब्लैंकेट प्रोटेक्शन. Okay, blanket protections of what? 9 schedule. 9 schedule added by which amendment act? First constitutional amendment act 1951. In which provisions of the constitution? Article 31, article 31b. Okay, article 31b. And in the 9th schedule, what actually say here? What actually say here? Say if any law, okay, if any law violate fundamental right, judiciary cannot imply it. Okay, judiciary cannot imply it, or cannot imply the judicial review. Judicial review cannot imply it by the judiciary. Okay, so if any law violate the fundamental right, judiciary can't imply the judicial review. Okay, so by the ninth schedule, here uphold the parliamentary sovereignty. Parliamentary sovereign ability. Okay, uphold the parliamentary sovereign ability. But our Indian constitution not follow the parliamentary sovereignty. Parliamentary sovereignty followed by the UK, okay, or British. So by the ninth schedule, compromise our compromise our constitutional check and balance systems. Compromise constitutional check and balance systems. Okay, compromise the constitutional check and balance system. Compromise the constitutional check and balance system. Then and also compromise the constitutional morality. Constitutional morality. Okay. In the ninth schedule, center and also center and also state can entry center also state can entry any law into the ninth schedule, and this law will protected from the judicial review, and this law will protect it from the judicial review. IR Koloho case, okay, IR Koloho case say using using of the doctrine of severability, using the doctrine of severability, there's blanket protections, blanket protections, blanket protections will apply in the ninth schedule. Okay, blanket protection will apply in the ninth schedule. Will be applied in the ninth schedule. This is will null and void. Okay, this is will null and void. So now judicial review can apply any law, including any law insert into the ninth schedule. Any law insert into the ninth schedule. Okay, blanket protection can be applied in any law insert in the ninth schedule. Done. Next, this is the one judgment, and second judgment is uh, Navjot Singh. Navjot Navjot Singh judgment. Navjot Singh judgment में in the Navjot Singh judgment, consent uh, consent sexual activity of between the LGBT community, can be valid. Okay, can be valid because previously in the BNS, in the BNS, okay, previously in the BNS, consent with consent में जो राइट था एलजीबीटी का वो क्रिमिनलाइज था. तो सो इन द नवजोत सिंह केस में decriminalized these provisions of LGBT right. So here uphold the rights of LGBT. Here uphold the rights of LGBT. Rights of LGBT LGBT plus. Okay, hope you understand. And here also use the doctrine of the severability. doctrine of severability. Fourth, third, in the 1975 में एक जजमेंट आया था. In the 1975 में एक जजमेंट आया था, इंदिरा गांधी वर्सेस यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया और समथिंग. एक जजमेंट आया था जिस जजमेंट में बोला था एनी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट violate the basic structure violate the basic structures of doctrine violate the basic structure of doctrine or fundamental right here can also apply it judicial review by the judiciary also applied can apply the judicial review by the judiciary. So ultimately in the conclusions we can say that uh, using the doctrine of severability our constitution can uphold the constitutional morality and limit the government's power and uh, increase the rights of the citizens. Okay, so let's see proper copy. Doctrine of severity is derived derived from Article 13 of the Indian Constitution. This is one of the most important judicial doctrine. This is one of the most important judicial doctrine. So, doctrine of severity derived from Article 13. Doctrine of severity is derived from Article 13 of the Indian Constitution, and this is one of the most important judicial doctrine. This is the important judicial doctrine. According to the doctrine, in a law, if the certain provisions are unconstitutional, they can be struck down. Okay, according to the doctrine in a law, if the certain provision are unconstitutional, they can be struck down, and this does not need to okay, line highlighting I can't catch, and this does not lead to the strike up of the entire law, instead just the unconstitutional portions. It does not delete. Okay, it does not delete the entire law. Instead, just the unconstitutional portion. Just unconstitutional portion. Uh, using the doctrine of severability, judiciary can delete the only unconstitutional provisions, not the entire law. Okay, judiciary can delete the only unconstitutional provisions, not the entire law. The क्या लिखा है भाई? It shall the remained law, it shall make sense after serving of the unreserved part of it can be valid. Okay, Supreme Court in the Akele Gopalan case, Eka Gopalan case has held that the doctrine of the severity ensure that the law, that is the people will, is balanced by the basic structures of the Constitution. Okay, was held that the doctrine of severity ensures that the law, that is that the people will is the people will balanced by the basic structure. People will is balanced by the basic structure of the constitution. Structure of the constitution. If any portion is formed, if any portion is formed to be in the contradictions, it will be the declared unconstitutional and void. If any portion is formed to be in contradictory, it will be declared unconstitutional and void. This shapes the labors and declared unconstitutional and void. In any portion is formed to be in contradictory, it will be declared unconstitutional and void. And this saves the labors and of the parliament and also uphold the supreme supremacy of due to constitution, and has been the judiciary a secular time. হ্যাঁ, uh, labors and time of the parliament and also uphold the supremacy of the constitution, and this was being used by the judiciary as judiciary a secular times, secure the times by a judiciary a secure a time. Okay, see answer है. Hi. Here is the defined articles where it is mentioned, and doctrine of sovereignty is declared from the Article 13 of the Indian Constitution. Is declared from the Article 13 of the Indian Constitution, and this is one of the most important judicial doctrine. This is one of the most important judicial doctrine. Okay, is one of the most important judicial doctrine. According to the doctrine, in a law, if the certain provisions are unconstitutional, they can be struck down, and this does not lead to struck up of the entire law and does not deal with the entire law. Instead, just the unconstitutional portions. The remaining law, it shall makes the sense after of the undeserved part of the can be valid. And Supreme Court in the Ecogopalan case was held that the doctrine of the severity ensure that the law and people will is balanced by the basic structure of the doctrine, and law, that is the people, will be balanced by the basic structure of the doctrine. If any portion is formed to be in contradictory, in any portion is formed to be in contradictory, it will be declared unconstitutional and void. It will be declared unconstitutional and void, and this saves the labors and the time of the parliament. This saves the labors and the times of the parliament, and also uphold the supremacy of due constitution. And this has been used by the judiciary is a secure time. Okay, and that's the average answer. Hope so. I not enjoyed so much. Uh, I have no right to give judgment of AR1. So okay, we will see the next questions in the next video. Okay.